You're listening to the Blue 82 podcast, hosted by Craig and Nicholas. Please like and subscribe so we know that you like what we're doing. And now, let's talk football. Blue 82!
Welcome back, everyone, to the Blue 82 podcast. I'm your host, Craig, with my co-host, Nicholas, and this is episode 22 of the NFL season. It'll be Week 18 recap, and then we'll be doing some predictions and doing some outlook on the wild card weekend coming up. We got a lot to talk about. Nick is finally back at home, so we'll be getting back to our regular scheduled program. We're a day late this week, but it's all good. You got the holidays and all that, so people got to spend time with their loved ones and things like that. So we're back. It's gonna be exciting. Me and Nick were just talking, and we're excited for playoffs, 100%. Don't get me wrong, but it's gonna be an exciting off season, and we're gonna do like a quick little dive into some head coaching positions and things like that, since there was a couple crazy things that happened this week. I don't have too much news or injuries or anything. But we do have news, which I guess we can address now, but we'll talk about more later. We had the Cardinals, they fired their head coach, Cliff Kingsbury. Texans fired their head coach, Lovie Smith. The Colts job
the Chargers cleaned house. Don't forget that.
The Chargers,
their GM stepped down.
Or the Cardinals, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the Cardinals. Their GM stepped down. Cliff Kingsbury's out.
Yeah.
So has both openings open now.
So they're looking for a whole new regime to come in and turn things around. There's also been news coming out of that organization as well, saying that they're going to be trying to openly and actively trade DeAndre Hopkins in the offseason. So they're going to be getting rid of him, or at least try to.
Which makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
But
The Cardinals' job was already open. We talked about that a long time ago. Colts' job's practically open. Jeff Saturday's not the guy. With Cardinals, Broncos, we talked about Nathaniel Hackett getting fired. And then the Texans. So those are the 5 openings.
Did you say the Panthers?
Yeah, the Panthers, yeah. Those are the 5 openings we have as of right now, which we'll talk about more later. We're going to do like a little segment on it in our thoughts. But as far as like news and injuries, I really don't have anything, Nick. I don't know if there's anything you want to talk about.
The only one I can think of is Tua, Mike Williams, like the 2 biggest ones.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure about Mike Williams. The last thing I saw about Mike Williams was that like it wasn't fractured or anything like that.
Yeah. I think I heard he was literally shooting to play and was probably going to play. Again, it's still kind of early stages in the week, so we'll find out. And I think
that's
at this
the hard
point,
part. Like doing it now is like you don't really find out till like Wednesday.
Yeah. And I think what we're gonna try to do is or at least in my mind, I'm thinking we just purely at this point in the season just stick to teams that are in the playoffs. Like, yeah, we'll address some things that come along, but like once we do this recap of Week 18, 100%. We're pretty much gonna be just talking about playoff teams for the next few weeks. And then once like Super Bowl ends, then we'll open it back up and start getting into some dives and things like that of all the other teams and all of that. But for now, we got the Tua injury. He's still in concussion protocol, right? We don't know exactly what's going on with that. We talked about Mike Williams. The only other one I can think of that's like a major injury for one of these playoff teams is going to be Lamar. Last I heard, they still have no info on that, so we don't even know if he's going to play, if he's shooting to play. Nothing yet on that. I know me and Nick talked about it. Their really only hope is if Lamar plays. If he doesn't play, they're screwed. If he does play, they're still probably screwed, but have a better chance. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But it is what it is. They're going to go up against what, the Bengals, and that ain't no easy feat to beat the Bengals. So we'll see. And I mean, kind of same scenario for the Dolphins as well. Which again, we'll break down when we talk about the matchups and the games this weekend.
I just say fuck you. Let's just Let's just do this recap.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
fly through this shit, like, so we can actually just talk about things that are current,
Relevant
like,
at this
you
point.
know what I mean?
Yeah. So week 17, we talked about the Buffalo Bills game and the Bengals game. That game ended up getting canceled, which I'm sure most of y'all know that. Also, just real quick, Damar Hamlin is in Buffalo now. I think he's at a hospital in Buffalo still, but he did transfer from Cincinnati to Buffalo, so he's doing a lot better. No, he got released from the Cincinnati hospital to go to Buffalo to be in another hospital.
So now he's in another hospital. Okay.
Yeah. It was almost like a transfer to a different hospital just in his town, I guess. But he is doing a lot better. We don't know the long-term effects of that. Again, we'll find more about that, but we'll go ahead and get into this Week 18 recap. We're going to fly through these because some of them are kind of irrelevant games, didn't matter too much. Saturday, we had the Chiefs playing the Raiders. They handled the Raiders dominantly and secured the number 1 seed. This game was ugly. I didn't watch a whole lot of it, but I do know that the Chiefs just obliterated the Raiders.
Yep. It wasn't even close.
Yeah. Next, we had the Titans and the Jags, which was a pretty close game. Jags defense stepped up and played well. Granted, Titans are on their, third fucking string quarterback, so I don't know if that's saying much.
Yeah. I mean, it feels good, though, going to the playoffs with a dub. Like,
no, 100%. 100%.
Keeping it going. But yeah, the Titans, I have no idea. They fired their GM earlier, so if you don't remember that.
Yeah.
I think they just fired their defensive coordinator.
I think so.
And I'm not sure. I thought it's something about their whatchamacallit,
Their offensive coordinator?
Yeah, but I can't remember if he got fired or
if he's getting
if he was like interviewing. I couldn't remember. But yeah, that one. That looks rough there. The whole Tannehill situation.
Yeah. That whole organization needs to sit down and figure out, all right, what's our next step? Do we tear it all down? Or
I think you got to.
It almost seems there at that point.
Like Tannehill's pretty much probably done at this point in his career almost.
You really only have Henry, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's only Henry.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucked.
Trade that poor guy away. Get him on a fucking team where he can maybe win a ring before he fucking calls it quits.
Yeah, it's a tough organization to be in right now.
Yeah, 100%. Honestly, like, looking at it, Nick, it almost seems like it's the tide has turned, and we'll see off season. It's still super early, but it genuinely looks like from now on the Jags are going to be the favorites in this division because it almost seems like the Titans, Texans, Colts are all in a fucking mid-swing rebuild type thing. Texans are in a full-blown rebuild, but Colts are in shambles.
Full-blown rebuild. I think the Titans are probably pushing for that almost. Yeah. The only team I could think that would maybe even knock them off or come close is the Colts. If they get a quarterback,
they might be all right.
Like if they could snag Jimmy G or something, maybe they turn around real quick. But that's the only team I would be worried about.
100%.
Moving on though, the Buccaneers game. I was very confused watching this on Red Zone because I didn't have sound on because I was watching the Dolphins game. And next thing you know, I just saw Tom Brady was being benched. I was like, what? But
I think they put
the way he looked on the sideline. The way he looked on the sideline didn't look like nice. Like it didn't look like he wanted it.
Oh, why would you want to get benched and know you're going to lose a game and end up 8-9 on a season?
Okay, I get that, but like at the same time, it's like you didn't want to get him injured. But I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you.
It was definitely a weird thing. Cause, like he's one guy like you don't want to piss the fuck off. I feel like
100%.
So I don't know. That probably helped fuel the rumors that he's probably leaving.
I think that's that was definitely happening regardless. But yeah, I agree. I don't know where he's gonna end up, dude. I don't think he's retiring. He can't.
I feel like his value is so low because he wasn't very good this season, but it's Tom Brady. You know what I mean?
So his value's still high as fuck. But it's lower.
Like you're gonna get a team that just overpays for him because it's Tom Brady.
No,
it's fucking Tom Brady. You know what? Maybe he goes to the Raiders.
That's the only one that
with
makes
his
sense in my
fucking
mind.
offensive coordinator.
Yeah, Josh McDaniels. That's the only one that makes
just
sense
run
in
him
my
back.
mind. Yeah. Anywhere else, it's like I don't think they're gonna want him. Like you could maybe say the Jets, but I think the Jets would prefer like Derek Carr or Jimmy G over Brady.
I mean, the Jets isn't bad either because it's almost like the Bucks team. Like it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like the defense is already solid. You have decent young playmakers, but I don't know. It's gonna be interesting because do the Jets even want him? Type of thing.
I've also heard rumors, Nick, of him going to San Francisco. How the fuck would you get another quarterback on San Francisco?
Jeez.
People are crazy sometimes. They're like, oh, he's going to go back to the Bay Area where he's from. Like, yeah, the 49ers are going to sign Tom Brady when they have their own fucking quarterback carousel that they got to figure out. Like, I don't know about that one.
I mean, that would be nutty, but...
No, it would be disgusting. I just don't see it likely happening, but I don't know. Falcons win this game.
I just have some high doubts with that.
Yeah. Falcons won this game. Bucks didn't play anybody hardly. Moving on, we got the Patriots-Bills game. This game started off with a fucking kickoff return for a touchdown, which, you want to hear something crazy, Nick? The last time the Buffalo Bills had a kickoff return for a touchdown, it was three years and 3 months ago. Which is like something that gives you chills because DeMar Hamlin's number is number 3. Like it was just one of those things that happen in like sports, and you're like, you have no explanation for it, and it's just crazy. Like it was nuts to see, but they ended up getting 2 in that game. Patriots did decent, but Bills just all phases of the ball seem to be working pretty decently. I'm still worried about this Bills team a little bit, Nick. Like, I don't know. In my eyes, if it wasn't for those 2 kickoff return touchdowns, it's a tie ball game. Granted, they would have got the ball. They could have scored on those possessions. I don't know. I think they're getting better than they were like the middle of the season, but I'm still a little worried about them.
Their defense is... I don't know. The defense sometimes plays really good sometimes, and like... Other times I'm just like left like, huh. I feel like they could have did more, you know what I mean?
No, 100%.
But Josh Allen, I feel like, is leaving a lot to be desired on this team.
Yeah.
He's literally the ultimate X factor. Like the team is literally him. So if he shows up on whatever it was, a Sunday they play.
Yeah.
If he shows up and they fucking like he plays the way he can play, then there's no doubt they'll probably win. But
Yeah.
if he shows up and plays his shitty games that he's kind of been playing the
Where he
last
throws
couple,
2 picks and fumbles
that's
the
what I'm
ball
saying, like,
once.
he just throws like a fucking boneheaded pick for no reason at all. But like I don't know. That's the only way I can see them
Losing.
like winning is like. Well, I mean, winning or losing is like going to come down to your quarterback 9 times out of 10. But like with him, it literally comes down to him.
Yeah, 100%.
They have like no run game that scares me. So it's like if Josh Allen is playing like shit, they're probably gonna they're most likely gonna lose.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And the fact that like it's the last 2 months he's been playing pretty much like shit.
Yeah. And their defense
A little bit
has been
worrying.
inconsistent, like you mentioned earlier. Like it just, like I said, I'm just still worried about this team. I don't know what to think. I think you said it perfectly with the Josh Allen thing. Moving on, we had the Vikings at the Bears. The Vikings played their starters for like a half, I think it was. Pretty much dominated this game. The Bears didn't even play fucking Fields, so saw this coming. Moving on, we had the Ravens and the Bengals. I mean, the Bengals just put it on the Ravens.
Just get it.
Yeah.
The Ravens are in shambles. You got no Lamar
Yeah.
Jackson, is what it is. They were ready for the playoffs, waiting for playoffs. Not much to talk about in that
Texans, Colts. Texans are fucking stupid. They won this game, and now they lost the first overall pick, and now it's going to get fucking weird in the draft. Stupid move by them. I don't like it. I know you can't, like, go in and say, all right, guys, you got to lose this game so we get the number 1 pick, but it's like, I don't know. It's just one of those tough situations. I think it sucks that they won. We'll see what happens.
Could be franchise altering. You never know.
Yeah, it really could. I mean, it happened to the Jets that one time. They won that meaningless game and ended up pick number 2 and missed out on Lawrence. Like, It could be the same
got-
scenario.
Got Zach Wilson.
Yeah. Moving on, we got the Jets at the Dolphins. Not much to say about this game. Not a lot happened. Just kind of a defensive game.
I'll tell you what, a lot of people probably got the score of the game wrong, thinking it was 6-9.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you saw like a lot of broadcast
Wait.
people like.
No, I did see this because I saw 11-6, and I'm like, wait. I thought, how did it end up 11? I thought it was 6-9. They get a safety or something?
Yeah, it was a safety at the end of the game.
Oh,
They were pitching the ball back
okay.
and forth. They threw the ball to the end zone.
Gotcha.
So it was a safety, but a lot of people are putting like 6-9,
Gotcha.
but it was actually 11-6.
Gotcha.
That's why I said a lot of people probably got the score of the game wrong.
Yeah. Skylar Thompson looked bad. Again, like we talked about earlier, I think if Tua doesn't play, they're probably going to get routed by the Bills. If Tua
We're gonna
does
get
play,
100% fucked.
yeah.
Even if Tua plays, we're still fucking gonna be
yeah.
down probably bad. But
I think the only
we
thing that's
really-
working in y'all's favor, Nick, if Tua plays, is the fact that it's a division opponent. Y'all have already played them twice. Y'all know how they play. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's definitely going to work in your favor. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the coming days with the whole Tua situation. Next, we got the Panthers and the Saints. This game was like 7-0 for God knows how long, and then 7-7, and then Panthers kicked a field goal. This game was just weird, ugly. Not a bunch of, in my opinion, I mean, I know it's week 18, and some people don't play in week 18 and shit like that, but these games just suck this week. Like, I almost couldn't pay attention to any of them. Next, we got the Browns and the Steelers. The Steelers won. Mike Tomlin kept his fucking streak alive. Don't know how he did it. He did it. He's fucking crazy. Steelers had a chance to still make the playoffs, but they needed the Dolphins, the Pats.
Dolphins and Patriots to lose.
Yeah.
And they had the win.
And then they had to win, yeah. But, of course, the Dolphins won, so they were knocked out. But good for Mike Tomlin with kind of the shitty situation they had this year. With the whole
He
back
just
and
don't
forth.
miss.
He's one of the best coaches in the league for a reason. Browns, you just got to hope to God Watson shows up in next year. That's all I got to say. Because if not,
Mortgage
it's
their
not looking
future on
good.
him.
Yeah,
And if
really.
Watson plays like he played pretty much the whole year.
And again, we
Oh,
predicted
good.
it, but you would have wanted to see a little bit more, I think. I know he's rusty, but I wanted to see a little bit more. If I were a Browns fan, to feel comfortable about going into next
he didn't show
season.
me enough to feel comfortable.
Yeah, 100%. And
Like,
again,
we predicted rustiness, but, like, my God, like,
I-
it felt like it didn't really improve at all.
and
No offense to your boy.
No. And I'm going to say this, and this isn't me taking up for my boy. This is something that I've seen even when, like, Baker was there. I think Kevin Stefanski sucks, truthfully. I don't think he's a good coach, and I think he's the play caller for offense. I don't think he's a good play caller. Like, I think that's part of the reason they fucking suck and why they've always been inconsistent even with Baker. I don't know. I could be wrong. But I feel like they need to take a long look at their head coach. Moving on, Giants at the Eagles. Jalen Hurts back from his first game. The Eagles just looked a little rusty on offense. I don't know if it's not taking the game too serious because the Giants didn't play nobody, or if it's just rust from Jalen not playing 2 weeks, or what it is. But they definitely need to look at this bye week.
I'm going to tell you
get
what.
it figured out.
You want to talk about the NFC?
Uh-huh.
The Eagles do not fucking scare me.
Yeah, I hear you.
It is the 49ers.
No, the 49ers are scary.
Like, that's the team that scares me the fucking most.
I think if it were the Eagles 4 weeks ago, I'd be scared of them. 4 or 5 weeks ago, like when they were hitting their stride, fucking beating teams 40-10 or whatever it was. But with the whole Jalen Hurts injury, they had a couple offensive line injuries. Like, it's getting to the points where it's like, I don't know. I mean, I still have them as one of the favorites for the NFC, but it's going to be tough going against a team like the 49ers because they're literally firing on all cylinders, Nick. Like, that team is disgusting right now. Yeah, I think We could potentially see the Giants and Eagles play again, Nick. You realize that, right? Because I think if the Giants beat the Vikings, they play the Eagles, which we'll look at that more later, but that'll be interesting with all their starters back. Next, we got Cowboys Commanders. I've said it before. I'll say it again. You cannot convince me that Dak Prescott is a good quarterback. I'm sorry. Like, I know that's all I got to say. Like, it seemed like every pass I saw this guy throw, Nick, was either off the mark, behind the shoulder, throwing it to the other team. Like, I don't see the fucking hype in the guy. I'm sorry. I know I sound like a fucking Cowboys hater. Label me what you fucking want. The guy sucks. Thoughts?
You don't have to convince me.
Fuck, man.
I think he's like what? Maybe a top 15 to 20 quarterback.
Yes.
But a lot of people try and put him in that top 10.
Top 8.
I would not put him there at all.
I'd put him like top 20.
And so I'm saying like 15 to 20,
yeah.
like in that range. Like,
and you got to look at it and think of all those.
Like, okay.
You got to look at it and think about all those quarterbacks that are like 15 to 32, and those dudes are not very good. Like, you know what I mean? You got a couple in like the 15, 20 range that are decent, but
after top 10
that,
is where like
it falls off.
It's like pretty much like your mid starters, like.
Yeah, and that's what he is in my eyes. I tell you what, the Commanders have an interesting situation here, Nick. They didn't play Sam Howell at all until the last game. They announced him late in the week as the starter, and he comes out and plays a pretty decent game, right? Granted,
I'll tell you what, I think the fucking Commanders need to fire Riverboat Ron here.
They fired their OC this week. I do think they probably need to fire fucking Ron.
I think he will probably get, one more year maybe? But it will definitely be an interesting team to look at.
Yeah.
With probably, a new owner in the next year or so. You get maybe a new coach. That team honestly looks very good on paper for the future, but it's really going to come down to their quarterback play. If Sam Howell is the guy or not, or if they draft someone else, or you know what I mean? Like, it's a good-looking team. Like,
you almost wish they could have been a little worse this season and not so much in the playoff talk, so they could have maybe gotten more looks at Sam Howell. I just think it's interesting that you only got to see him once, and he played a pretty decent game. Granted, I don't think he played a game good enough to label him as the fucking quarterback of the future for the Commanders, but it's definitely something you got to address and look at.
100%. You're going to have to give him a chance at least.
Yeah, I think so too. Cowboys lost. They suck. Fuck them. Moving on. This game, Nick. So the Chargers and the Broncos played, right? Going into this game, the Chargers were already locked into their seat. They could not move. Why did they play their guys for three quarters?
That's what I'm saying. It was weird.
Mike Williams got hurt because of this. And then after he got hurt... yeah, and you still lost the game, first off. Second off, and you continued to play your guys after Mike Williams got hurt. You would have thought, oh, fuck, Mike Williams is down. Let me pull the fucking guys. Let's not take any more chances. But you continued to play them. Like, I don't know if you just want to stay locked in or if it's because you're playing the Broncos or I don't fucking know what it is, but you shouldn't have...
Either way, it didn't work out because you played them. You didn't even win. And then you got your fucking starter hurt. So, what the fuck was the point?
No, I agree. I don't want to I don't want to say this. I'm going to say it, but it's going to hurt saying it because I don't even think it's true. But do we think Russell Wilson's gotten his swagger back? He seems to be playing a little bit better.
He finished the year better after Nathaniel Hackett was fired, so it leads me to believe that Nathaniel Hackett's a fucking idiot or something.
Yeah, had to have been.
Holy shit. It was like a night and day difference between him and him before, or him with Nathaniel Hackett versus him without.
Yeah. I've seen some comments, and they've been saying that Hackett was the problem the whole time because they tried to turn Russell into a fucking pocket quarterback. instead of like a mobile rushing scrambler.
I still
whatever you wanna
think
call
Russell's
it.
to blame a little bit as
Oh,
well. Like, you
100%.
can't just 100%
He didn't
blame
look
the coach.
good.
Yeah. I will say, though, but... Because how much of the scheme did you probably change, right? You probably didn't change a whole lot.
Once he got fired, or
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like once
Yeah.
he got fired, maybe dropped a few plays here and there, but you probably didn't change the whole playbook with literally how many games was left.
yeah,
And that one game he did get hurt. Nathaniel Hackett was still the coach, right? Where he
Yeah.
got the concussion.
yeah, I think
And
so.
that was probably one of his best games until he got hurt. So it's almost like he was figuring it out, maybe towards the end of the year. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's definitely a little bit, like we've talked about before. It's definitely way too late for
Yeah.
a quarterback of his status to be figuring it out that late into the season.
Yeah, because you're a veteran quarterback. You're one of the top tier quarterbacks in the league. It shouldn't take you 13 fucking weeks to figure out an offense. You shouldn't be I understand growing pains, but growing pains is like after week 4, you should have it figured out. Not week fucking 13. Like, I don't know. I just don't think there was a good relationship there with Hackett and Russell, and it just led to problems maybe, and Russell looked like shit, and I think it was just all of it put together. I think they'll probably have a better season next year if they get a decent head coach, but that remains to be seen. We'll find out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Next, we had the Rams and the Seahawks. This game went to overtime. Pretty close game. Rams. Tell you what, the Rams have played their hearts out these last 4 or 5 weeks. It seems like, right?
Tell you what, the fucking Lions are gonna tell the Rams to go fuck themselves.
My dad asked me this the other day. He was like, I didn't realize Jared Goff wasn't half bad. And I'm like, yeah. I said, in my eyes, like, Jared Goff and Matt Stafford are the same. Like, that trade made no fucking sense.
There's a reason why he was a first
Yeah.
overall pick. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not that fucking bad.
That trade, like, it was cool and all when it happened, and yeah, it worked out. They got a Super Bowl, and it's cool for fucking Matt Stafford. He got a Super Bowl, but I just don't think that was the problem from the get-go. Like, you pretty much traded apples to oranges at that point, right? Not much of a difference between the two quarterbacks in my eyes. Good for Jared Goff, though, to be able to turn the fucking lines around, and Dan Campbell, they're killing it. But Seahawks won in the last second field goal. This whole situation was weird, too, Nick, because if the Seahawks won, they could still not make the playoffs if the Packers won. Which kind of made it to... And then the Lions got eliminated when the Seahawks won. But the Lions still came out and fucking beat the Packers, which the Packers look like shit. But the Seahawks game, they won. They're in the playoffs. Moving on, we had the Cardinals 49ers. The 49ers put it on the Cardinals. The only thing I have to say about this game is J.J. Watt went out a hell of a way. I mean, he had like 2 sacks. It seemed like every fucking play he was in somebody's fucking face. It's going to suck to not see him playing anymore, being a Texans fan, and him being with Houston for so long. But he had a pretty solid game for his last game. Let me ask you one thing before we move on to this Lions-Packers game real quick. Do you think there's a chance, Nick, that next year some Super Bowl team comes asking, or some playoff team comes asking JJ if he wants to sign with them? What do you think he does?
I mean, the fact that Gronkowski literally talks about retiring every year and coming back, I'm sure it's a possibility. At this point, I don't believe anyone that says they're
Retired.
Air quotes.
My dad says the same shit. Moving on, we had the Lions and the Packers. Like I mentioned before, the fucking Lions had nothing to play for except to be spoiler in this game, and they played spoiler.
Can you imagine if the Steelers asked him? Plays with his brothers.
See, and that's what I thought was going to happen, Nick. I thought, like I knew he was reaching the end of it, and I could tell that he was probably going to retire in the coming years, right? But I figured he would at least go and play with TJ for
Both
1
of them
year.
are there, actually.
Yeah,
TJ
and Derek. Yeah, I literally thought for 1 year at least he was going to go to the Steelers for a decent amount of money, nothing too major, and go play with his fucking brother. Like, could you imagine? That would be nuts, bro. Like, I really thought that's what was going to happen, but it didn't.
I'm honestly surprised he didn't do it.
Yeah, no, I would have. Like, I don't know why he didn't. but it is what it is.
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, and I think that maybe he betted on the Cardinals to be better, but
Oh, he did. I mean, if we think about it, like 2-3 years ago, we thought the Cardinals were in the like on the up and up. You know what I mean? Because they had just drafted Kyler. Like, we thought they were getting to that point to where they were going to be a decent team. Just has not worked out that way. Which sucks because I really would have liked to see him get a ring just for everything he's done for Houston in general. As good as he's been for the Texans, like, that would have been cool. Yeah. So, Lions played spoiler. The Packers, Nick, for a team that wanted to make the playoffs and literally had all the marbles were in their hands to, like, you know what I mean, win and you're in.
Ball was in the court. Yep.
Yeah, and they came out and just looked so bad, undisciplined, ugly, no fucking fire in them. Like,
I can't believe, what's his name, Quay Walker, the guy that fucking hit the medical staff guy. Like, why the fuck would you ever do that, especially after what just fucking happened?
Yeah. And then not only that, did you see him walking? Did you see the video of him walking in the tunnel crying?
Bitch. Like, what a crybaby bitch.
You
like,
fucking
I
did it,
up.
and you're fucking crying. Like, get the fuck out of here, man.
Like, I can't believe he did that shit. When I saw that, I was like, are you fucking, like, that dumb?
It's ridiculous.
Like, why would you do that?
I mean, I've been saying it.
You shouldn't ever do that anyway, but, like, especially after what fucking happened. Like,
100%.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I've been saying it the last 2 or 3 weeks. I do not want to see the Packers in the playoffs. And this is just so cool to see for multiple reasons. I mean, the Lions ended up with a winning record. That's fucking awesome after everything they've been through. Packers aren't in the playoffs. Thank fucking God. Something about the Packers, Nick, like, it's not like hating on the Packers. But me personally, I like...
Fuck Aaron Rodgers, man.
Well, not even that. I just physically can't watch a Packers game. I don't know what it is about it. It's just so boring to watch every time. Like, there's no excitement. The uniforms are ugly to fucking look at. Maybe it's Aaron Rodgers. I don't know what the fuck it is, but I literally... I snooze every time a Packers game is on.
Fuck them.
Fuck them.
Fuck them.
Alright, so, moving in now. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wild card games. We got the Eagles on a bye for the NFC and the Chiefs on a bye for the AFC. All right. Do we want to talk about these games at all, or do we just want to go through and predict them?
Yeah, we can talk about them and predict them.
All right. So starting off Saturday at 3:30 Central Time, we got the Seahawks playing at the 49ers. We got two division teams right here. They've played each other twice already. I do believe the 49ers won both games and won, like, dominantly both games. I know we talked about it, Nick. Like, the 49ers are scary. You know what I mean? I think they win this game 100%. Would be cool to see Geno maybe get a playoff win, but I just don't see it happening.
No. I have no faith.
No faith. No faith at all.
The way they've been playing, too, like, he hasn't been playing good. So,
see,
he's been having a rough couple weeks here.
If it was, like, early season Seahawks, like maybe mid-season Seahawks, I'd say, okay, maybe they got a chance.
But, real quick,
yeah.
I'm not going to write them off completely because it is Geno Smith, Kenneth Walker, it looks pretty good.
Dog.
Right? You got Tyler Lockett, and then you got DK Metcalf. Pretty solid weapons.
100%.
If somehow the defense can maybe force a turnover or two on the rookie quarterback, and Geno plays how he has maybe played, then maybe I could see the upset, but the 49ers defense is just that fucking good. And then if Brock Purdy plays how he's pretty much played his whole career, the last fucking whatever long he's been playing for, like, then I don't know how you beat that team. Like,
I will say
Nick Bosa's a fucking dog.
Yeah, they have dogs all over the place. They got CMC, George Kittle, Debo, Brandon Ayuk, fucking Elijah Mitchell. Like, that team is
like
stacked.
Defensive wise, you gotta fucking scheme for that offense. Then on offense, you gotta scheme for the fucking best defense. Like,
it's nuts.
It's a tough fucking task, man.
I will say I agree with everything you're saying. If they can kind of rattle Brock Purdy a little bit, they would definitely have a chance.
They definitely got to sack the quarterback and
100%.
force him to make a bad throw or something,
Yeah.
because that's literally how you're going to beat pretty much every team in the playoffs. Like, you
Yeah.
just got to get pressure and force a turnover.
In my eyes, the only way the Seahawks have a chance is if Brock Purdy comes in, the big-time atmosphere is too much for him, and he just completely fucking fumbles and cracks and has one of those quote-unquote rookie games. That's the only way I see the 49ers losing this game. You know what I mean? And I mean, from everything we've seen, that seems highly unlikely because kid's been cool as a cucumber this whole time.
I mean, it could happen, but
yeah,
I don't know if it's... Yeah. If that's what you're betting on to happen, then fuck me, you're in for a rough day.
Yeah, so I'm going to be...
You got to try and figure it out.
I'm going to be taking the 49ers. I think you picked the 49ers as well, didn't you?
What the fuck is going on here? I think so.
Yeah, you did.
Alright, hold on, I gotta open it up again.
Yeah,
My thing crashed.
I'm going to be kind of like rooting for the Seahawks. Like, it'll be cool. Like you said, they got some players. It'll be cool to see make it to the next round. But they've just been kind of cold these last few weeks, and I feel like that's going to hurt them. But
they just haven't looked like the 49ers, like... Or
49ers
the
have been
Seahawks.
Yeah. They've looked...
Like, Geno Smith went from, like, an MVP-type player to just,
to throwing a
Geno.
pick here. Looking like Geno again, honestly. We'll see what happens.
Alright, let me put it in. Alright, so both 49ers. There we go. We're back.
Alright, so next game at 7:15 Central Time, we have the Chargers at the Jaguars. Me personally, I think the Jaguars are going to win this game. I think the Chargers do not scare me. They've been inconsistent.
I think this, real quick, I'm going to say, I probably think this is the most balanced game, in my opinion. Like, this might be the closest game.
I think so. As far as, like, two teams that match up that you think, okay, these teams are kind of similar, right?
Yep.
I could see the Chargers coming out and being inconsistent and kind of choking like they have in the past. If Herbert comes out and throws a couple interceptions like he's been known to do here or there, the Jaguars could win this game. And I just think that Trevor Lawrence he's been in these big moments in college and high school and things like that, and I think he's going to excel in the playoffs. Like, I think he's going to end up being one of those quarterbacks that come playoff time, if he's in there, he's going to look like a 10 times better guy. You know what I mean? Like, I think the Jaguars win this game. Granted, I don't know if they make it much farther than this, but I do think that they beat the Chargers.
Okay. So, unlike the teams before us, I think the 49ers, right? Their team is completely, like, from top to bottom, like, complete. Like, it's ready to go, ready to win.
100%.
Even if Brock Purdy has a bad game, that team is still going to be fucking in, like, hard, like, a hard team to beat. Now, on the other hand, you have the Seahawks. We talked about them. Geno Smith, literally going to have to play the game of his life, right?
Mm-hmm.
This game is going to come down to the two quarterbacks.
Yep.
Both defenses, in my opinion, are kind of mid.
Yep.
I don't really see them getting a whole lot of sacks or turnovers or anything like that. The Chargers, their run game is kind of
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, with Austin Eckler, he has the most touchdowns, but their run game has never really been, like, amazing, in my opinion.
They
like,
do well in the red
them,
zone. They don't do well
in
between the 20s.
I've watched them, and it's like they're handing him the ball, and it's like he doesn't really get, like, any yards at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, to me, this is literally going to come down to Justin Herbert. If Justin Herbert plays the game that he can fucking play, and he's played a few times before, but now he needs to do it in the big moment, then I really think this team could be good.
Okay.
Like, he's got weapons now. Everyone's back. Keenan Allen is a fucking animal. Austin Eckler is that guy. If he can get some runs breaking through or whatever, like, it's going to be a good team, man. I don't fully trust Justin Herbert, but I trust him more than I think Trevor Lawrence.
Okay. I'm not against that. I mean, it is a good team. Like,
I think, like I said, I think both these teams are just evenly matched. Like, their defenses don't do a whole lot. Like, their run game isn't really there.
Yeah.
But they both have, like, decent weapons. Like,
I will say, I will say, and take this with a grain of salt, because I think the Chargers were missing players, and Justin Herbert was 1 week removed from his big rib injury this year. But the Jags did play the Chargers early this year and beat them 38-10. Again, take it kind of with a grain of salt. But this is a different atmosphere, different environment. These two teams are playing completely different than they were at that point in the season. But I do agree with everything you said. Like, I can see it going that way, Nick. I mean,
ultimately, this is the game that's going to come down to both quarterbacks.
Yeah. And I think this is going to be a very
whoever
good
shows
game.
up and outduels who is going to win the game, honestly. Like, whereas, like if we were talking about with the 49ers, like, Brock Purdy could fucking put up a stinker and they still have a good chance of winning.
100%.
Whereas, like, this game is literally going to be two quarterbacks going back and forth, I feel like.
It's going to be a duel. Which those games turn.
Or one of them shows up and
it's
shits the bed and they fucking go right home. Like, who knows?
It's possible.
Because I have zero faith in any of these defenses.
A lot of people are kind of predicting this to be a low-scoring game. Not too sure why.
I mean, I could see that too.
But yeah, that's kind of what.
It could be one of those, like, people probably could be predicting as one of those games where it's like people think it's gonna be a duel, whereas like next you know, boom, none of these quarterbacks showed up.
It's very possible, but I am gonna take the Jags. So we've agreed on the 49ers, and then we're different on this game. Next, we got 12 o'clock Central Time, Sunday. We have the Dolphins at the Bills. I'll let you take the reins first on this one, Nick.
My heart says Dolphins, my brain says Bills. If Tua plays, it's going to be a good game, I think. Division matchup. I literally said to my dad, this is a trilogy. But if Tua doesn't play, I have zero faith, zero hope. Yeah. Skylar Thompson's not that guy. He would literally have to play like his career game probably ever, like, since high school, where he probably would have to fucking go off, like, you know what I mean? It's just 100%. Highly unlikely. The Bills are a good team. They were literally the Super Bowl favorites pretty much all season long. Like I said, if Tua plays, I think it's gonna be a really good game. But it's literally going to come down to, is Tua fucking good enough to go?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I see it as getting absolutely just smoked.
I think
especially playing on the road in Buffalo.
Okay.
Like, he's going to be fucking fired up Buffalo fans everywhere.
100%. I think we're pretty much on the same page with this. It's all going to come down to Tua. If he plays, it's going to be a good game, because both times they played this year, it was a good game. They split it evenly. On the season.
Both games are close too. That's the thing.
Yeah, they were very good games.
I think I think both games are a one-score game. I think.
Yeah, that's what, and I'm hoping, like, for the sake of like you and Dolphins fans out there, I'm hoping Tua does play, so at least you have some hope going into the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or at least maybe even Teddy comes back and plays. Right? You get a little bit more hope there. Not a whole lot, but you get a little. You get more than Skyler, bro. You get more than Skyler.
It ain't much.
No, I know it's not, but you do get a little.
Just
bit more.
Just because it's 1% of hope doesn't mean it's hope.
I hear you, but yeah, I mean, I'm gonna pick the Bills.
Like I said, in my head, I'm picking Bills.
Yeah.
But in my heart, I'm picking Dolphins.
No,
and I'm gonna pick the Dolphins.
I don't.
On the prediction, just because it's like you gotta root for your team.
You gotta root for your team, man. I don't disagree with you. Like, I get it completely. I just hope Tua plays for the sake of just like a good football game as well, because it's gonna suck if Skyler plays, because we just know how that's gonna turn out.
If Tua plays, this is gonna be a huge game for both quarterbacks. One's been struggling, the other one also was an MVP player. He started struggling near the end of the year.
Yeah.
Then unfortunately gets hurt. A lot of concern about Tua, but Josh Allen, in my opinion, too, is gonna have a very pressure-filled day, because he's got to be the MVP. He's got to be the guy, right?
Yep.
And like we've talked about it multiple times throughout the year, he hasn't been playing great the last month or so. So it's like, if he lays a stinker, this game could be up for this taking, even with Skyler, even with Teddy. Like
100%.
If he comes in there and he throws the ball like 2 interceptions or something like that, like turnovers are literally like game changing in a sense, like in regular season, but they're literally like
so much more in
like
postseason.
10 times more negative in a fucking playoff game
100%.
because it literally just affects it that much more. That's 2, whatever it is, possessions taken away that you lose now. Like, depending on how many turnovers you have, like, it's so big. Everything counts. And then momentum can flip literally on its head in a second in playoff games.
And
So
momentum's a motherfucker in playoffs, dude. Like, it means something.
like, it is so, like, it's so detrimental, like, playing on the at home. Because, like, 1 minute, the crowd's rocking in it. Next thing you know, you give up a touchdown or a pick six or something, boom, the crowd's literally right out of it again.
Yeah.
And it's, like, dead silence. And, like, that to me could be even worse, like, than playing on the road. You know what I mean? Because, like, it's so much pressure on the home team to win.
Playoff game in the home environment, is so much pressure to get the dub there.
Like, just when you hear that, like, when you hear, like, the crowd's going and then, like, boom, it just goes dead silence, like, you can literally hear, like, a nail fucking drop, whatever, like, that shit to me is like, wow, like, this game might be done.
No, I agree. Alright, so moving on, at 3:30 Central Time on Sunday, we have the Giants at the Vikings. In my eyes... And I know, like, here's the thing. First off,
it's a prime time Kirk Cousins game, dude.
This Vikings team has been so fucking inconsistent and weird all season long, right? They've still pulled out close games. They've still figured out ways to win. They're 11-0 in one-score games, or 11-1 or some shit like that. I'm not confident in this game at all because the Giants have played people tough all year. The Vikings and Giants played a couple weeks ago, and it was a close game. Kirk Cousins is trash in primetime. Like, Kirk Cousins is... I don't know how many playoff games he's played. A couple, maybe? Pretty sure he's probably ass in those, too, right? But I still have to ride with the fucking boys, man. Like, I think Justin Jefferson's got something to prove. Which is crazy because you would think at this point he's got nothing to prove. But I think this game he's got to fucking do something because he realizes after the whole fucking Packers thing and then all that still going on, he's going to come out in absolute fucking ball. Granted, Kirk Cousins still has to get the ball to him and that's questionable. And this is such a tough game for me, but I'm still going to ride with the Vikings. Like, I think the Giants are a good team. And they very well have a chance to win this game, and I wouldn't be surprised if they won this game, but I'm going to roll with the Vikings. Nick?
Alright. Sorry, I was putting together my thoughts here. So looking at this real quick, this is what this game is going to come down to, right?
Okay.
We talked about it before. What is it, Craig? Defense and your run game. That's what we always talk about winning playoff games, right? So, looking at the stats here, good old thanks to ESPN. So, yards per game rushing, right? The Giants are 4th. They are built on Saquon Barkley, right?
Yep. He's got fresh legs, by the way.
Even Daniel Jones goes, right?
Mm-hmm.
That team, like, because they both can fucking run it. Right?
Yep.
Then you look over at the fucking the Vikings defense. It's fucking terrible.
Yes, it is. It is so
They're
bad.
giving up the second most yards per game behind their division rivals, the Lions. Lions are giving up 392.4. Vikings are right there at 388.7 yards a game.
That's so ugly.
The second most. This season, they've given up, again, behind the Lions, the most yards on defense at 6,608.
Goddamn.
So they are just letting everyone just do whatever the fuck they want. Then, Craig, you go to the next important stat in this column, points per game. They're giving up 25.1, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th worst in the whole NFL. So not only are they just bending, they're fucking breaking, Craig. Like,
where are the Giants on this list?
For points per game?
Yeah.
Their defense is like mid points per game. They're probably around like the 20th, maybe 15th range. So it's like, it's not bad. It's not elite, but it's not bad.
Yeah. Vikings is bad.
So that's what I'm saying. That's the most important thing to me because I don't trust any of these quarterbacks. I don't trust Kirk Cousins. I don't trust Daniel Jones. But I trust the fact that the Giants' offense has been able to run the fucking ball, and their defense has played pretty decent for the year. And that to me is what's going to give them the edge to win this game. Everyone knows Justin Fields is going to be that guy. Or sorry, Justin
Jefferson.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, so everyone knows he's going to be that guy. Everyone knows he's going to be targeted, right?
Yeah.
If you can fucking double team him, take him out of the game, he gets frustrated very easy, Craig. We've seen it. Punching refs, throwing helmets, like he gets angry,
Yep.
He doesn't have the fucking Joe Cool, the Joe Burr, whatever the fuck they say, right?
Yeah.
And that's going to be the big thing to me. They're going to get in his head, knock him out of the game. Boom, he's out, he's done, he's checked. Adam Thielen, he's fucking old. Who gives a shit about him?
Yeah.
And then it comes down to your tight end, TJ Hawkins. That's the only guy they're going to have left to pretty much watch. Dalvin Cook, boom.
I will
What are you
say,
going to do?
my only question to this, does it scare you that Saquon Barkley hasn't had over 100 rushing yards since November 13th, which was like probably week 12 or 11?
Nope.
Okay.
He's playing literally the second worst defense in the NFL.
He went 14,
It is literally-
he went 14 for 84 last time they played in a touchdown.
I'll tell you this. The way the Vikings win this game is their defense makes fucking plays this game.
Yeah.
They, for whatever reason, they show up this game. Don't know why, but they do. That's how they win this game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think...
But I can see this game, you simulate it 9 times out of 10, Saquon Barkley's going to have a fucking field day.
Yeah.
And the Giants' defense just does what it needs to do and what they've been doing.
I think the only way for the Vikings to, like, win this game is kind of, like, piggybacking off what you said, but they need to get turnovers because they're going to give up yards and they're going to give up points. They need to get some interceptions or some fumbles or something. That's going to be the only
Either
way.
turnovers or holding them to field goals, because you can't give
Yeah.
up 25 fucking points this game. Like,
I agree.
because at that point, I'm favoriting fucking the Giants. Like,
Yeah.
Kayvon Thibodeau's been an animal. Dexter Lawrence has been fucking nice. Like, they have a pretty solid defense.
Yeah. They definitely, and I think they're getting Xavier McKinney back, so that's a positive on their defense. So I mean, I agree. Like it's hard for me to trust the Vikings and how inconsistent they've been this year. It's more of we've been riding them all year, and that's kind of been our team that we picked. So I'm gonna keep rolling with them. But would not be surprised either
the
way.
underdog because I think the Giants, like I said, if Saquon Barkley has his day, like I think he's going to, I think the Giants' defense is going to contain the Vikings.
FYI, I don't think they're technically the underdog. I think the Giants are favored in this game.
Really? I don't know. I feel like they probably wouldn't be, but maybe they are. Don't know.
Well, the Vikings have been like
I'll look.
underdogs, have been not favored in so many games this year, so I would not be surprised if the Giants are favored.
You give me like 2 seconds, I'll find it.
Yeah, you're good.
Where is it?
I think it's going to be a good game, though, because last time they played, it was a pretty decent game.
It literally went to overtime, right?
I do believe so, yes.
Alright, so of course the Seahawks are the underdogs, the Chargers are the underdogs, Dolphins are the underdogs, and the Giants are the underdogs, actually,
They are,
yes.
okay. I wasn't sure.
But yeah, that's my
completely,
thoughts.
but I like it, okay. I'm not, I'm not
I think
against
Kayvon
it.
Thibodeau has a big game. He gets like a sack or 2,
I like it.
maybe even a fumble.
Moving on, we got primetime game. I guess these are all technically kind of primetime games, but the night game, 7:15 Central Time, we got the Ravens at the Bengals. This one, in my eyes, is going to be quick to talk about, and we kind of already mentioned it before. I don't think the Ravens have a chance if Tyler Huntley's
It's the same as the Dolphins
Yeah,
game.
it is.
If Lamar doesn't play,
They're
they
fucked.
don't have a chance.
If
If
he
Lamar
does-
plays, they still probably don't have a chance, but it's a better chance.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that's the same thing with Tua. Like,
Yeah.
because if Tua plays, they don't have a chance. If Tua plays, they still have a small chance, but if Tua doesn't play, they have no chance. Same thing with Lamar.
And in my eyes, like on the AFC side of the ball, the Bengals are my favorites for the Super Bowl. Like I think they have a very good chance.
Yeah, I think
of
the
making Super
Bengals are gonna run away with this game, even if Lamar plays. I think if Lamar plays, it's gonna be a closer game, but
Bowl. No,
I don't think it's gonna be the
game everybody's hoping for.
Yeah.
I agree. So we're both taking Bengals on that one?
100%.
All right. Next we have Monday night, 7:15 Central
just
Time.
to FY update you, the Ravens are the underdog.
Okay. Monday night,
Take your guess. Who do you think is
7:15.
underdog on this one, though?
The Cowboys.
That is the Bucks.
Wow. I'm not surprised at that, though, honestly. We got the
Still pretty
Cowboys
close, but-
at the Buccaneers. I'm going to take the Buccaneers first off. The Cowboys just can't seem to win a playoff game. They do everything wrong in the playoff game.
We talked about it before. No ice, no clutch.
Yeah, their defense has been good all year, but they've gotten exposed in the last 4 or 5 weeks.
I was actually going to say that. Their defense has not been playing great the last couple of weeks.
Not good at all, dude. Like, giving up
And
points.
Tom Brady's been playing pretty decent the last couple of weeks.
Hey.
Except for getting his bench this week.
Yeah, he got benched. But the game before that, they finally put everything together. And again, I don't know if that's because it was a shitty Carolina team, whatever it is, but they definitely look to be better.
I'm just going to say this, Craig. It is Tom fucking Brady.
Tom Brady.
Like, we literally talked about it,
We've said it
in this
all
podcast
year.
earlier. Literally talked about it in this podcast earlier. He has a fucking lower value, but it's Tom fucking Brady. Like, the dude just finds ways to win. I don't know how, don't know why, but he is that guy. He has the literally, like, Jesus God on his side. I don't know what it is, luck, like, something's on him. The dude just doesn't fucking lose.
What have we talked about all year? The Bucks are going to somehow sneak away with this division at 8-9, get into the playoffs, host a playoff game, and somehow make a small little run. Like, I'm not saying they make the Super Bowl, but I think they at least get past this week.
They're playing, like, a good matchup because it's the fucking Cowboys who always just choke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
100%.
like it's a favorable matchup for you just to walk in and get the juices going.
Yep. I agree completely. I'm taking the Bucks. I don't trust the Cowboys one bit. I don't trust Dak Prescott. Their defense is hard to trust because they've gotten exposed. Like, everything in my eyes is just against the Cowboys right now. The Bucks have starting to figure it out here and there, like looking a little bit better, scoring some points. Like, the Cowboys are known to choke. I just feel like the Bucks win this game.
The big thing for me for this game is they got to get Leonard Fournette going.
Yeah.
For the Bucks, they need to get a little bit of that run game going.
Does playoff Lenny show up? He might.
Fuck, I hope so. He does something.
Yeah, I mean, definitely got to get the run game going. Which, again, the Cowboys have kind of been getting ran on, I think, a little bit here and there. So, we'll see what happens. So, yeah, we both took the Bucks on that.
Yep.
So, we ended up agreeing on the 49ers. We're different on the Chargers, Jags. Different on the Bills, Dolphins. Different on the Vikings, Giants. Same on Bengals. Same on Bucks. All right. It'll be interesting to see. I'm excited for it. Just real quick, I just want to... Where's this at? Playoff picture. Okay, I just want to look at this real quick. So, on the AFC side of the ball, right? It looks like whoever... So, we got... Hold on, let me start at the top here. So, we got the Bills playing the Dolphins, right? So, whoever wins that game is probably going to play the Bengals or the Ravens.
They would play the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah. If the Dolphins win, they'll play the Chiefs. If the Bills win, they'll play the winner. They'll either play the Ravens, the Chargers, or the Jags.
Yeah.
I had another website I was looking at the other day, and it was easier to look at this way. This is kind of confusing me, so I'm not even going to worry about it. I was trying to do it to where like I could figure out the matchups based off who won, but it's giving me a brain aneurysm right now, so I'm not even worried about it, to be honest. We'll look at that when that gets here next week. But I'm excited for the wild card. We talked about that. Trying to recover real quick.
That was fucking tough.
That was tough. My
like
brain...
You had to just you had to think about it. Like, okay, that they play.
The brain was not allowing that to process. Don't know why, but
I need the one that looks like Madden. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what
I'm trying to find one, but I can't find it.
Like I said, I was looking at one the other day, and it was making sense to me, and I could literally look at it and say, all right, if they win, they're playing them. If they win, they're playing them. But I'm not too worried about it at this point. We'll let fate figure it out. So we talked about that. We mentioned we wanted to talk about head coaching jobs and things like that, right? So this article I have pulled up has like the head coaching jobs that are open at the moment.
Okay, I found one.
Ranked.
Here.
You found one?
I'm just gonna type it in your chat. There you go.
Oh, there we go. All right, so this will be the playoff bracket, right? So we got.
So as you see there, it would if the Dolphins win, they'd play the Chiefs.
Yep.
Whereas the Bills won, they'd play either Baltimore. What is this? Hold on, I'm gonna look at mine. It's so if the Bills win, they would play either Baltimore or the Jags or Chargers.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be interesting because then
because it would be KC. Well, look, it'd be hard because we would have to go through and like predict who won to actually figure out who is going to play who, right? Like if we went through,
like if you went through and said that Buffalo wins, right?
Yeah.
That would then mean that KC would probably be playing. Well, KC would be playing either the Jags or Chargers, right?
Yeah, because we would say Cincinnati's going to win. So they would play the Jags or the Chargers.
So Cincinnati would be probably playing what, the Bills?
Cincinnati, yeah. Cincinnati would be the play in the Bills. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought because I was predicting the Jags to play the Chiefs, right? And then I was predicting Cincinnati to play Buffalo, and then I was predicting Cincinnati to win against Buffalo, and then KC to win, and then Cincinnati, KC for the championship again.
Okay, so that'd be it. He's got some good matchups.
That'd be a nutty run for Cincinnati. Could you imagine playing Baltimore for a third time in the season, beating them, playing Buffalo, beating them,
I'll tell you what,
Kansas City and beating them? Like they have a tough run.
It's a fucking blunder.
Yeah,
making it to the fucking AFC.
100%.
I mean, as a Dolphin fan, like we got to beat Buffalo, the second seed. Then you got to beat the number 1 seed most likely,
Yeah.
or you'd have to beat them, and then you'd have to probably beat the number 3 seed in Cincinnati.
Yeah,
like that's a fucking grind.
Yeah,
and then you got to go on and beat fucking the Eagles or probably San Fran.
Yeah,
good fucking
luck.
Jesus,
it ain't no. That's why we've said it before. Like the AFC's tougher because you potentially have to play KC, Cincinnati, or Buffalo at some point, right?
I'll tell you what though, the Dolphins made that run. I'd have all the faith in the world that they win the Super Bowl. Like,
oh my, absolutely, dude.
But so yeah, looking at the NFC side then, so Seahawks win, then they play with the Eagles. Most likely going to be San Fran though.
Yeah.
So San Fran would go through. They'd probably play.
San Fran would probably play Tampa or Dallas if the Giants win. If Minnesota wins, they're going to play Minnesota. You follow?
Yeah, that'd be interesting then.
Yeah.
Minnesota and San Fran.
Yeah.
I think it's probably going to come down to the Eagles and the 49ers probably.
Yeah, I think so. Looking at this though on the NFC side, like it really comes down to if the Giants upset the Vikings, Giants will play Philly. But if the Vikings win, then Philly will play Tampa or Dallas, and then 49ers will play Minnesota.
I'll tell you what. If the Giants somehow beat Minnesota, I don't like that matchup for Philly.
I don't either. Yeah.
I think Philly has to hope and pray that the Giants don't move on. Because
even then, Nick,
I trust them to beat any other team, but
I don't know. It's tough
aside
because
from
we're talking about Philly. They either have to play the Giants, which again, third time a season gets a little weird.
Yep.
Or Dallas, again, third time a season gets a little weird. Or Tom Brady in the playoffs gets a little weird. So it's not going to be an easy run for Philly. Like they got the bye, but if Philly wants to genuinely make a run for this Super Bowl, they need to somehow come out and be the Philly of mid-season where they're fucking smoking dudes. Because if they're the Philly that has been showing up the last couple weeks, it's going to be close games and it's going to get weird. You almost at this point wish Philly got the number 2 seed because it looks like San Francisco is going to have a little bit easier run. Because they play Seattle and then they either play Minnesota or Minnesota. They would play Minnesota or that's it. Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Definitely gonna be a fun weekend. I can't wait to see.
Yeah, 100%. I'm excited for it. Yeah, so I mean, we'll go ahead and you have my stream pulled up. This article
Yep.
doesn't matter too much, but I'm just gonna read some stuff off of it. So this article has the head coach openings and they're ranking them, right? So right now they have them ranked 1 through 5. They have the Panthers at 1, Cardinals at 2, Colts at 3, Broncos at 4, and Texans at 5. You agree with that ranking?
The
Or would you
Panthers were at 1.
at 1? Yeah, they think that's the best situation to go into, is what it looks like.
What's that real quick?
Panthers,
So you got Panthers.
Cardinals,
Uh huh.
Colts,
Uh huh.
Broncos, and then Texans.
Why is the Panthers so favorited?
I think because in a lot of people's eyes, they probably look at this team. Their defense is pretty
Wait, scroll
good.
down.
They got some players.
What is
How
it say?
far?
Okay, it just says coach. I was just
Yeah,
looking. So it
it's-
says lack of premier starter. Understanding. Is the Panthers location what will be a wide open? Okay, yeah. I guess that makes sense then.
Yeah.
If Tom Brady does leave, then yeah.
Yeah, I mean that
That does make
division's
sense.
kind of in
The
shambles.
divisions, yeah.
Yeah. And then I think they have a pretty decent like salary cap.
Yeah, just thinking about it now, like, yeah, the team's not bad on paper. Your defense is alright. Your
Yeah.
offense probably has to be a little bit rebuilt, but
I think at number 2 they got the Cardinals. I think I would move them down a bit. I would almost rather take the Colts or the Broncos over the Cardinals.
I think I'd have maybe the Cardinals at like 3, maybe 4.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not big on the Cardinals. You're
I
stuck
think I
with
would
Kyle
put-
Murray.
Yeah, I think I would put Colts at 4 and Texans at 5, and then Cardinals Broncos can maybe change because they both quote unquote have a franchise quarterback, so you don't have to worry about that. But I'm not too much worried about the order, but I will say like if we were looking at this Panthers, right? So we'll start at the top. We got the Panthers. They have no coach. They don't really have a quarterback. They've got some coaches that they've already requested to interview. They got Ken Dorsey, Jim Caldwell, Ben Johnson.
Jim Caldwell. That might not be a bad one.
Might not be a. They got Frank Reich on there too. Stain Steichen, the Eagles OC, and then Steve Wilkes, of course, the guy that led them this season intern.
I like Ken Dorsey and I like Jim Caldwell.
Okay.
And I do like Steve Wilkes, like bringing them back, potentially.
Yeah, he didn't do too bad. They really just need a better quarterback. All right, so that breaks down the Panthers a bit. So I guess the Cardinals haven't requested to interview anybody yet.
I mean, they're just freshly fucking
yeah.
dumped everyone. So.
They need a GM. They need a coach. Anybody you have in mind that you would think end up here that you would like in this situation?
I mean, I feel like they need probably like a veteran presence for a coach.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you can't go rookie head coach back to back with a fucking
Young
what is
quarterback.
it? A younger 2-3 years in the
2-3
league now.
years, yeah. I think it's 3 years
It
in
just
the league.
it doesn't make sense to me to go with a back like another rookie coach because I feel like you're just going backwards. Then you know what I mean?
I hear you.
So I think maybe if they could get Sean Payton or maybe if they can get Jim Harbaugh, like that wouldn't
would
be
be
bad.
cool.
But I don't think any of them would want to go there.
Yeah.
I think they'd probably rather go maybe to the Broncos where they have a defense, whereas like Russ showed a bit more promise than fucking
Broncos definitely have a lot more pieces than the Cardinals, right?
yeah. Like that's the thing to me. It's like it's almost like to me like the Broncos are the Vikings of last year. Like the Vikings to me was the best spot to go to because of how good that
Yeah.
team looked. Whereas like this year, it's like the Broncos are pretty much almost like that same team.
Yeah.
Like they got a few pieces on offense. Their defense looks really, really good. The only downside is they play in a hard division.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you might be able to swing away into the fucking wild card or the what is it called? The
wild
why
card.
am I blanking? Is it the wild card?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why am I blanking so hard?
Brain's not working.
But yeah, so but yeah, so with that in mind, like I don't know, it's a hard division, so it's like that's why it might be why, but I don't know.
All right, so Colts. It looks like they have requested interviews
Fuck the
for.
Colts, man.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. Just to be fair, I'm gonna talk about it real quick. They got Ejiro Evero. Don't even know who that is. That's interesting. Aaron Glenn,
Broncos
Lions
defensive
DC.
coordinator. I mean,
Yeah.
Never heard of him, but if he's a
He's done
Broncos,
well,
it might not
yeah.
be bad. Yeah.
So they got
Lions
the
defensive
Lions
coordinator?
DC and Lions
Not-
OC.
Not too sure what the DC on the Lions.
That's true.
I'm not too sure.
And then they
about
got the
that one.
Rams DC, Raheem Morris, and then Stain Steichen, Eagles OC, and then Jeff Saturday, dog shit. Yeah, I mean, I don't like this situation because I don't know if they're bad because of quarterback play, because their O-line sucked this year. Like, their defense wasn't as good as everybody thought it
They're
was.
tight as fuck on the cap.
Yeah.
You got no O-line. You have a little bit of draft capital, but it's not fucking the best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I agree. I don't like this spot. If I were any coach, I would take the Texans over the Colts, in my opinion. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying too. Like you get the second overall pick, at least then you got a chance to do something with it.
And you can
but...
pretty much build the team how you want and get who you want. If you can work well with the GM, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't really like the Colts spot. We talked about the Broncos. It looks like their coach interviews are their own DC. They got Jim Harbaugh, Sean Payton, Raheem Morris, Dan Quinn, and then D'Amico Ryans. So they're kind of interviewing some.
So they already did
heavy
interview Jim
dudes.
Harbaugh.
Yeah, they did.
That's interesting then.
So, and then there's the Broncos, and then the Texans. It looked like they've requested the Broncos DC, Eagles DC, Lions OC, Giants OC, 49ers DC, and then Eagles OC. And I would assume they're probably going to request Sean Payton and probably request Jim Harbaugh, you would think, right? You would have to do the due diligence. I know the Texans seems like a bad spot to land, and it is, right? But I think if you can get one of these OCs from one of these teams, whether it's the Lions or the Eagles, and he comes in with a brand new quarterback, if y'all get Bryce Young or CJ, whoever, you got some young pieces. They've drafted pretty decently last year. I think this team can make a semi-decent turnaround and go 7-10 or something, you know what I mean? If they add some pieces in this
It's gonna
next
come
draft.
down to the draft. Like,
Yeah, it's all. That's
if you
all
can
it
get
is.
CJ or if you can get Bryce, and they're one of like whoever you get is like a fucking
Yeah,
generational talent, then
no,
you'll be set.
100%.
But
Um,
it's gonna be a big ask.
I guess my main question with all these is just because these are the two biggest names probably as far as like coaches that could end up somewhere. Where do you think the ideal spot for Sean Payton and Jim Harbaugh is? Like, if you're Jim Harbaugh, what team would you want to go to and be okay with leaving Michigan to go to?
Well, the thing is, I have no idea what the fuck they want. I'm assuming at this point in time they don't give a fuck about money, right?
Who?
Both
The coaches?
of them, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like they're both already veteran coaches, where it's like money ain't a fucking thing to them.
No.
I'm assuming, right? So no matter what, where
Yeah.
you go, you're gonna get paid money. I would be wanting to go somewhere I can win now,
Yeah.
right? So in my opinion, it'd probably be the Broncos would be number one for both of them, because again, that's like your best spot to win.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh's been to a Super Bowl, never won one. Sean Payton's been to one, he won one, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you got to be trying to build up that legacy, right?
100%.
So it's like you probably want to go to either the Broncos,
Probably just the Broncos. I mean, they might both be
I don't
fighting
know,
over the
maybe,
Broncos,
like-
and that's it. Like, Hey, here's my thought process real quick on
The
it.
thing is, too, is like we talk about the Texans ain't bad if you can get the quarterback you want,
Yeah.
right?
My thought process.
But I don't know if they want to sit there and waste like they say if they sign like a 5-year deal, they waste like the first 3 of it building a team again. Like you know what I mean? Whereas
it's like
excuse
you
me,
said,
whereas Jim Harbaugh can stay in college and just fucking play for
keep winning
championships.
the natty.
Like, you know what I mean?
I think it's like you said. It depends on what they want, right? Because neither of them want money, right? So I think if Sean Payton's looking at it and he's saying, I want to come back to coaching on a team that I can build another dynasty with, quote unquote, and coach another 10, 15 years or whatever, in my eyes, I'm going to like the Texans, right? Or if he's saying, well, I want to come back to coaching for a couple years, maybe win me another Super Bowl and then get out, I'm going to the Broncos. Same thing with Jim Harbaugh. If I want to get myself into the NFL and build a dynasty and a legacy as an NFL head coach, I'm going to want to go to the Texans, the Panthers, maybe the Cardinals, because you got a quarterback there already that's decent.
I'm just gonna say, don't forget too, real quick, is that if you're wanting one of these these like top coach candidates like Jim Harbaugh or Sean Payton, you're gonna want to lean more towards Jim Harbaugh because he has no ties.
Yeah, you don't have to trade for him.
Whereas you're gonna have to trade for Sean Payton, and they apparently want a first round pick, which is pretty costly for a fucking coach.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, they're gonna have to give him the fucking what's his name, the Chucky deal, fucking $100 million type shit.
Yeah.
And like that's gonna be fucking like an awful lot to ask out of like a playoff type team, right?
No, 100%. I think Jim Harbaugh would be the better option for these teams because same reason you said, you don't have to worry about trading a first for him. But I mean, Sean Payton is a good coach to get, so I don't know. It's tough. It just all depends on what they
Jim
want.
Harbaugh, but
no, 100%.
Just depends if Jim Harbaugh's actually even serious about coming back or not.
Yeah, and I don't even know. Like, thinking about the Texans, I just don't know if anybody's gonna want to come to the Texans yet. Like, it's got to be one of these guys that's never been a head coach before. I just don't see Sean Payton and Jim Harbaugh wanting to come here. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'm sure they'll probably interview him just to see and maybe think about it. I mean, maybe they do want to come here. Like I said, maybe they want to build a legacy and do a 10, 15-year rebuild thing. I don't fucking know.
I doubt it, but
yeah, no, I do too.
You're probably gonna get a rookie head coach,
which I'm fine with. You know what I mean?
He's just gonna accept the job, just accept it.
Truthfully, you know who I would want? Like,
what?
Looking at these guys they've hired here, like D'Amico Ryans would be sick, right? But I don't want a DC as a head coach. I probably would want like the Eagles OC, Stain Steichen. That in my eyes, that's probably the best option out of these guys here. If I'm going offensive coordinator, because I don't want a DC. I just don't think DC head coaches work out nowadays. I know there's some that do, and some that have made careers out of doing it. But with the way the league is now, I want an offensive coordinator as a coach. I don't know. We'll see. It would have been sick to get like Mike McDaniel. That would have been sick last year. The bad part is there was like some good candidates last year and the year before that, but the Texans were just in such shambles that nobody wanted to come here those years. I mean, they're still in shambles, but it is what it is. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
No. I'm good.
I hear you. Alright, so I think that's going to wrap up episode 22. We talked about the head coaches, did the recap, did the predictions. Yeah, playoff football is about to start. Like I said before, we're going to kind of focus on these playoff teams, do the recaps and predictions for the coming weeks. And then once, maybe the week off from Super Bowl, before the Super Bowl, we'll maybe revisit some predictions we made at the beginning of the year. Talk about those. And then we'll have the Super Bowl episode, and then after that, it's kind of a free-for-all. Maybe we can fucking, each week talk about a team specifically and what we think they need to do for the future. I don't know, that would be pretty cool, something like that. Then we got the draft and all that coming up, so we got a lot of shit to talk about. But yeah, I mean, I think that's going to wrap it up. Again, like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate y'all. We'll be back on this regular schedule from now on. So let us know if y'all got any ideas too, because we're definitely open to them. Because like I said, this is kind of the point in the year where we can really talk about anything. Nick, you got anything before we go?
Like, subscribe, comment. Go Dolphins.
Go
Fucking
motherfucking
excited.
Dolphins. Yep. All right. Well, y'all have a good week. Enjoy football. We'll catch y'all later. Peace.